and good people. This will be the third in the series on bad times and good people. Relevant issues in our society here today. This morning, I'm going to give you a little pre-warning. The things that I have to say, don't let them overwhelm you. Don't let them discourage you. Don't let them put defeatism into your spirit. Bring awareness to your understanding. One of the ways that in any fight, whether it's a military fight or a cultural fight, in any fight, one requirement that would guarantee your defeat is to be unaware of who you are fighting and how your enemy is fighting. Unawareness about the war we're in and who we are fighting and how it's being fought is a sure formula for our defeat. So awareness is essential to be informed. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 and 11, Paul said, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might." Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Put on the entire armor of God, the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against, everybody say against, that you may be able to prevail against, that you may be able to succeed against the wiles of the devil. The word in the Greek that is translated wiles in the New King James Version is translated in the NIV version, the devil's schemes. The devil's schemes. The King James uses the word wiles. The Amplified Bible uses the word the strategies and the deceits. The strategies. Everybody say strategy. Are you aware that a strategy is a plan? Listen to me this morning. I may not have a plan, but the devil does. You may not have a plan for your life, but the devil does. I want to tell you this morning, God has a plan for your life, but it is not automatic. God has a plan for your life. Not just Pastor Jim or Pastor Brenda or Pastor Misty or Pastor anyone else. God has a plan for your life. But it is not automatic. We must all seek to find and align ourselves with that plan. Now what's sad is many Christians are kind of reluctant about that in some ways. But even when I'm reluctant about finding God's plan for my life, the enemy has a plan for my life. So there is a strategy against us. But greater is he that is in us than he that is in the world. The Greek word is methodia. Methodia is the Greek word translated wiles. It's where we get our word method, methods, methodology. Methods, methodology. A methodology is a system of principles and procedures that will be applied to any specific endeavor or branch of knowledge. Paul said, put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against, prevail against the strategies, the methodology, the schemes, the plans, that the enemy has for you. Bad times and good people. Satan has a plan, a thought-out plan, and a strategy for this age and this time. I like to refer to it as the spirit of the age. The spirit of the age. The Bible uses the word age many times, several times. It's particularly in the New Testament. The word age, and the Apostle Paul makes a demarcation between this evil, wicked age and the age to come. The enemy has a plan to infiltrate the spirit of this age and cause it to go his way and cause his plans to prevail. The spirit of the age, the zeitgeist, is the way some refer to it in German. The zeitgeist, the spirit of the age. Now, it behooves us as believers to be on the offensive and the defensive all the time so that we will not be conformed to this present age, but to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. We are either, as I've been saying on Wednesday nights, we are either acting or we are being acted upon. We are either moving towards God or we are moving away from God. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no such thing as staying neutral. I'm either getting closer to God or I am going the other direction. I am either in progression towards the things of God, from glory to glory and faith to faith and strength to strength, or I'm going the other direction. See, some people seem to think in their Christian life they can just kind of hold their own. Well, Brother Jim, I just want to hold my own. No, you have to be progressing. Because the plan of God for our lives is that we be conformed to the image of Jesus Christ. From glory to glory. So the enemy has a plan, but I'm going to tell you God is greater than the enemy's plan. We're going to work through this plan, this idea, this scope of this schema here comes from Pt3, and he's one of my favorite writers. I've read everything that he has written. He is a charismatic Roman Catholic philosophical professor at Boston College, and he is not liberal. He is conservative to the bone. And you talk about you talk about a person having to be like a round peg in a square hole. Boston College. Here's the type of man he is. I read one of his books and it changed my life so much. I sat down and wrote him a letter. Never done that before in my life. So I wrote him a letter, told him what his book meant to me. And you know what happens? On down the road a few weeks, I get a phone call. And on the other end of the line is Professor Kreef from Boston College. Ah! And I said, you know, I've learned about that you have these summer classes, and I would love to be able to come one time and take one of your summer classes before I die. And when I said that before I die, he kind of chuckled, you know. He thought that was a little funny. I thought it was too, but that's just me. And I did get to see him, though, in Houston when he came down there one time and got one of my books signed. But we're going to look at a 7-step strategy that the enemy has to implement his plan and his purpose in this day and time. What we'll do is we'll be working our way backwards, all right? We'll be working from the conclusion back through the causes. We will be working from the goal back to the means. A 7-step strategy, satanic strategy that has been hatched in hell to defeat our society in America, particularly, to defeat and steal away our lives, our children, our homes, our family, our everything. And the first thing we need to do is wake up. Wake up. We are at war. If you remember back in 2001, my response to the terrorist attack in New York City, when all the people started saying we are at war, I came back and told you we have been at war. It is not news. This life is a battlefield. You were born into a battlefield. Praise God. But what matters is what you do with your situation. And if I'm unaware that I'm in a war, then I am sure to be defeated. So we'll work our way back from the end. The end goal, here is the goal of the enemy, the wiles of the devil. What is he after? Number one, he wants to win souls for hell. Satan is a soul winner. I'm going to wait and let that sink in with you. Satan is a soul winner. All we hear about is winning souls for heaven. Well, he's after winning souls for hell. His object, his aim, is to get as many souls into hell as he possibly can. Hell was not created for you and I. It was created for the devil and his angels. But we can end up there if we don't make the right choices. Let me tell you, hell's a real place. I don't care whether eggheads today don't believe in it or not. Hell is a real place. Hell is hot, hell is eternal, and hell is real. You don't hear a whole lot of sermons about hell anymore. What the hell happened to hell? I thought I'd get you awake then. Well, it's not popular. It's not PC. It's not theologically, intellectually correct. And I just don't see how that a good God could send anybody to hell. He doesn't send you to hell. You go there on your own choosing. It's chosen. And the reason any human being, one of the reasons any human being would choose it is because the devil won you. He's a soul winner. He's after your soul. Come on, somebody. See, a lot of people don't even believe they have one anymore. Well, you got it whether you believe you got it or not. You got a soul, and the devil's after it. And he doesn't want to be lonely down there. So he wants to pull as many people as he can into that pit with him. He's a deceiver. He's a liar. Jesus said this in Mark 8:36. Jesus said, "What shall it profit you if you gain the whole world, but you lose your own soul?" What does it mean to lose your soul? That means your soul ends up in hell. Your soul ends up in hell, and eternal damnation, eternal separation from God. No mercy. Come on, somebody. No mercy. I mean, hell's not going to be 1,000 years and then over with. It's eternity. What you and I do with our lives in these few years we walk on this planet will determine where we spend eternity at. So the devil wants to win my soul for hell. Jesus said, if you were to gain the whole world, if you were to become ruler of the world, if you could be the potentate that ruled the world, but you lost your own soul, it would profit you nothing. Think about that. How important is my soul? It's the most important part of our entire being. It's more important than your physical health. It's more important than your financial health. It's more important than how smart you are. It's more important than how famous you are. Your soul, my soul. How is it with your soul? God, give us some preaching today that talks to people about their souls. Not just about their promotion. Life is a test. Eternity reveals are either passing or failing the grade. Say this with me. Life is a test. Life is our test. And the grades are handed out according to what we have done with that life that we have been given. Can't get away from what the Lord's laying on Pastor Brenda's heart of late, the abortion thing. Mother Teresa said this: when mothers kill their own babies, there is nothing in civilization to save. Enemy has a strategy. I want to win. I don't want to lose. I don't want my soul to end up in hell. Satan is after your soul, and he'll do anything to try to obtain it. Life is a test, and you and I are presented with this test called life. What are you doing with your life? Life provides the possibility, not the guarantee, of the development of character. What is your life about? It is the possibility of you and I gaining character while we walk in this pilgrimage called life. There's nothing in it that guarantees you're going to learn it, but you do have the possibility. And I would say that each and every one has the equal possibility. The equal possibility to develop character. None of us are prejudiced against. We all fight the same battles morally and ethically. And we all wrestle with conscience. And we all wrestle with what is right and what is wrong. You know, the pure materialist and the naturalist, the person that doesn't even believe there is a God and doesn't believe there is an absolute objective moral standard, that same person, if you will cut in front of them in a line, they'll tell you that's not right. Come on. Take that person that doesn't believe in objective truth and moral natural law, go out into the parking lot and take their car home and see what they do. And just argue to them, well, it's all relative. It's all subjective. My car, your car. If we don't believe in objective truth, we have to remove the word ought every time in our life, in our vocabulary. There is no ought to life. There is no right or wrong. There is no good or evil. Let me tell you, I feel so sorry for those people today that think the only evil there is in social structures. Now, I'm going to tell you, there are some evil in social structures. In other words, there are some demons that hang around particular sociological networks and all that. But it's not just social evil. It's personal evil. It's diabolical evil. It's satanic evil. And greater is the God of heaven. All of Hitler's close inner circle had IQs of a genius. And look what they came up with. Eugenics. Oh, I get too many points. Gotta go. When I get to these, if I hang too long, somebody give me a signal. Okay, thank you, hon. Got it. Here's the conclusion. Satan wants to win souls for hell. Now, number 2. How is he going to win souls for hell? The corruption of society. The corruption of society. Now, like I said, I can't get the thing about this is you cannot just blame society alone. And see, if we could just blame society alone, then if we could get the good enough social situation, we can eliminate evil. And there's some people that think you can do that. All we just need to talk. Start saying, I'm sorry, but I'm not. No, you're not going to talk a devil into doing right. There's real evil, diabolical evil. And it wants to corrupt society. So this step here, to get hell populated with souls, the devil's got to go back and first corrupt society to a level that becomes a possibility. Today we live in a society of other-directed people. Sociologists tell us this. They call it other-directedness. In other words, what they're saying is this, is basically we in our culture, in America today, we have lost our inner compass. We don't have an inner directedness. We are directed from outside. We are other-directed. They tell us what we ought to wear. They tell us how we ought to look. They tell us what we got to drive. You know what we are? We're a bunch of conformists that claim to be nonconformists. And if you doubt that statement, try to buy your kids some unnamed jeans. Am I preaching or meddling? Huh? I'm independent. I'm setting the pace. Oh, no, you're not. Look, you're wearing the same clothes everybody else is wearing. That's what's the most popular. And you feel neglected if your parents don't buy you the highest priced name. I don't even know what they are named. When I shop, I wear a pair of shoes till wear out and wear them in the store, change them in the store, put the old ones in the bag, carry the bag out, throw them in the can. We're so wrapped up in what is the consensus of the number of what is popular. It's killing us. Now listen. I'm not just a stick in the mud, young people. I'm not just a stick in the mud. I'm a log in the mud. No. I'm not just a stick in the mud, but I'm telling you what, it's okay, to follow some patterns as long as it's the right pattern. Corrupt society to the core. Do it from the inside. We follow today celebrities rather than fathers. We follow celebrities. Listen, one of the most popular shows on TV, which do not watch it myself. Not because I think it's so evil, I'm just bored. It's called American Idol. And if that's your idol, sorry. Stepping on toes, sorry. I mean, the name ought to just tell us we ought to stay away from it for the pure name. Idol means idolatry. And God said, you shall have no. He said, you shall have no American Idol before me. We worship celebrities rather than fathers. God give us fathers. God give us fathers. God give us fathers in America. We need fathers. Not popular. Not the coolest, neatest thing come down the pike. Quit trying to be cool with your kids and be dad. Be mom. Do you believe in corporal punishment? Certainly when they're corporally wrong. Corrupt society. We live in a society of conformists who think of themselves as nonconformists. Find the right role models if you want to play the right roles in life. You want to amount to something in life? Find the right role model. You're not going to get to where you really want to get when your role models are wrong. Corrupt society. Corrupt society at the core. All right, let's move to the next step then. Well, how will he do that, Pastor? His goal is to populate hell with souls. He wants to be able to do that. He must bring corruption into society. How's he going to do that? The third one is this: redesign the family. I said redesign the family. I said redesign the family. To destroy society, just corrupt the foundational building block upon which it stands. The devil's smart. Don't call him stupid. He's smart. He's diabolically smart. And he realizes if he wants souls in hell, he's going to have to corrupt the culture those souls live in. And he realizes if he's going to corrupt the culture those souls live in, he'll have to destroy the founding building block of that society, and that's families. The devil is after your family. The devil is after my family. Men, you need to arm up. You need to suit up. You need to find the sword of the Spirit. You need to find the anointing of God for your family. And you need to stand at the door of your family and say, not in my house. No, not in my house. Not in my house. You have to go through me to get to them. Shame on you men. You stick your woman out there to fight the devil for you. Sorry about this bit. Shame on you men sticking your woman out there to do the praying. Come on. God give us men. Men with backbone. Men that know how to be spiritual. Men that know how to set the role model that your family and your kids and your grandkids and your great-grandchildren can follow. So the devil's after our families. Family is where we learn about authority. The first place you learn about authority is in your family. The disrespect we have in our society today has started at the family level. You learn rebellion there. You get by with it there. You'll try it out there. Somebody help me preach. Family is where you learn about submission and obedience and responsibility. Whew. Family is where we get it right or we get it wrong. And when we get it wrong, it costs our culture. It costs our society. When I was a kid, I'm a preacher's kid, so when I was a kid, I was made to go to church. I was whipped to go to church. I was whipped at church. And I was whipped when I got home from church. I didn't like church. Thought I had something better I ought to be doing, for sure. But I didn't live in a democracy. I lived in a totalitarianism. And Daddy was Toto. You know the saying, I believe in theocracy. My name's Theos. Get control in your home and set the standard. Our worldview or philosophy of life comes to us, first of all, through our family, secondly, through our culture, and thirdly, through our education. What your worldview is like this. Putting on a set of glasses. If my glasses were rose-colored, I'd put my rose-colored glasses on, and guess what? I live in a rose-colored world. Your worldview is the way you view reality. What you believe about reality. What you believe is real and non-real and unreal. And you did not just, that worldview didn't just fall on you. It came from your family, it came from your culture, and it came from your education. And if you don't like yourn, you need to study it some. You don't like your, I don't have a worldview, brother. Oh yeah, you do. You don't have a worldview, they lock you up in places. You've lost sense of any reality whatsoever. And there's sad people like that. But everybody's got a worldview, but they never challenged, questioned, or looked at their own worldview. Listen to me now. Racism, you're not born with it, you're taught it. You are taught it. And if you can teach it, you can unteach it. Oh, I'm a preaching now. Hallelujah. Hatred is taught and caught. So he comes out to the family, does he? Yeah, listen, your family is your church. Every one of you, hey y'all, whoopee, you didn't know you had a church, did you? Yeah, you got one. It's the first church of the Smith family. It's the first church of the McDonald family. It's the first church of the Miller family. Your family is your church, and you need to lead your church down the right path. You need to be an example in your family. The local church is an extension of your family. Don't give us all the responsibility. The church is to be a complement to what you're getting at home. Is that right? It's an extended family. Praise you, Jesus. This is going to be a bestseller. Praise God. Moving on. Say, the devil is after my family, but he can't have them. The next step, if you want to go after the family, then what's the next thing you attack? Redefine marriage. If you want to redesign the family, you redesign marriage. You redefine marriage. Listen, I don't care what the Supreme Court says about that. God has his own definition of family. I said God started the first family, and it's called Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Right, yeah. Come on.
Amen.
Come on.
And it's man and one woman for life. That's God's idea of marriage. Marriage didn't come from society. It came from God. Just like those certain inalienable rights that we are so defensive of in our Constitution, those rights were not granted to you by government. They're granted to you by God. And marriage didn't come from society. It comes from God. It is an eternal institution of God that God had in mind. And Jesus backed it up in his words. He backed it up in some people, I don't know about marriage. What about, Jesus, when Jesus quotes the Old Testament on marriage, he is giving his approval and validity to the institution of marriage. Marriage is under attack. My God, it's under attack. God, help us. Redefine marriage. How do you win souls? How do you win souls for hell? You corrupt society. How do you corrupt society? You redesign the family. How do you redesign the family? You redefine marriage. Do we know what's happening to us? Systematically. How do you destroy the family? Destroy and replace the idea of healthy, strong, stable marriages. Marriages are under attack. Marriages are under siege. If you're thinking about getting married, you're about to embark on one of the most important institutions that God has placed within the framework of human society, and you need to be aware that all of hell is going to come against you. Stop running the aisles. Please come back to your seats. If the only reason that I get married is because I'm interested in getting my needs met, bar the door, Katie. Marriage is a way for you and I to come into Christ's likeness by denying ourselves, by being unselfish, by being self-giving, by asking God to bring me out of the black hole of my inner self-centeredness. I'm going to tell you, self-centeredness is a black hole. It is a hole, it is an abyss of which there is no end. I want to tell you, the devil will suck you into that black hole, promising you that you will be happy, promising you that you'll have your needs met if you'll just stand up for yourself and just you'll just think about yourself. You go after after it and you'll find yourself. No, there is no joy in the self-centeredness. There is only the joy in the self-giving of the Holy Trinity, where the Father gave to the Son, and the Son gave to the Spirit, and the Spirit gave to the Father and the Son. God shows us how to do it. Listen, and the guy that's talking to you has not really been one of the most selfless guys. Well, I'll repent. How about you? It's all about me. I'm not happy. So I'm out. I'm not happy. Well, let me tell you, you're chasing an elusive thing that you'll never be able to catch. Pursuing happiness through self-centeredness will never be obtained. You're not wired for that. We're made in the image of God. And the only real happiness any of us will ever know is learning how to operate and give and receive that uncompromising love, that unconditional love, and forgetting just about us and start thinking about others. So the enemy comes after our marriages, and he makes marriage about me, and this thing that I'm out. The church must take a stand for marriages in this day and in this hour. They're under vicious attack. Something, in my estimation, is really wrong when an institution called the Supreme Court of the United States can override the wishes of 26 different states where votes have been taken by the people of those states, and they can wipe it away with one decision. To me, something is grossly wrong in our country politically. So we're at war and we're under attack. But this is not bad news. And like I said, please don't let this message get you despondent or discouraged. This message is to bring you to the level of awareness. It's to bring us up to a level of awareness. All right, so he wants to win souls for hell. He goes after society. He wants to get society corrupt. He goes after the family. He wants to destroy the family. He goes after the marriages. Number 5, how do you destroy the marriages? Destroy sexual fidelity. Marriage is destroyed by loosening its glue. And the glue that holds marriages together is sexual fidelity. This ain't popular preaching, but this is Bible preaching. Sex is God's idea. He created it, not man. Man has perverted it. And we have turned, if you look at most of the major ills of our society, some way or another, they're directly tied to sex. Whether it be abortion, which is nothing but people just wanting to use abortion for birth control. I like what E.V. Hill said, that old Baptist black preacher from Los Angeles. E.V. Hill said, I'm pro-choice. Pro-choice. He got up and told his church, I'm pro-choice. They're all taken back and what's he saying? He said, yeah, I'm pro-choice. The choice is made when you climb into bed. Fidelity. Oh. So we use our euphemisms on this thing called fornication and adultery. We use our euphemisms. We call it sexually active. Sexually active. Do you know how many people are sexually active in our society today? Do you know how many people have some form of a sexually transmitted disease in our society today? Oh, this is good preaching. Quiet preaching up in here. It always gets quiet when you talk about sex and STDs. The choice is made. We make the choices that end up, we need to stop punishing the unborn because of bad choices. Right, yeah. God help us in America. God help us in America. Sexual fidelity is under attack. As a matter of fact, our media has a gigantic mind-controlling plan in operation to make you look like you are some crazy idiot, fundamental maniac, fundamentalist maniac, redneck. Don't need, all you need is a toothbrush. You don't need a teeth brush. Make us look like idiots because we believe in fidelity. Sexual fidelity. Amen. The bed is undefiled. Marriage is honorable and the bed is undefiled, is what Paul said in the book of Hebrews. Marriage is honorable and the bed is undefiled. Fidelity. Oh, you're one of those. Yeah. And I'm healthy. Perverse, I'm going to get off of that with this one right here. Perverse sex is like anything else. The more of it you get, the more of it you need, and the more of it you want, and the wilder it'll have to become. That's right. That is preaching, brother. It is a drug. Perverse sex is a drug, and the more you get involved in it, the deeper you will go. It is a black hole and an abyss of which there is no end. So leave it alone. It's dangerous. It's loaded. It's dead. Sex can kill you. Sex can, the wrong kind of sex. They actually did a study about sexual satisfaction in Christian marriages of fidelity on the part of the husband and the wife, and they have found more genuine satisfaction in the marriages of Christians that are faithful to one another than they found in anything out there in the perverse world of sexually active. Okay, I can tell I need to move on off of that one. You're too sanctified to talk about sex. Infidelity is a thought before it is an act. Infidelity is a thought before it is an act. Think it long enough and you'll do it. So, how do you destroy sexual fidelity? Well, step 6, number 6. Rewrite the laws of morality. It's called the sexual revolution. New ideas about sex will produce new patterns of sexual behavior. Rewrite the laws of morality. Sexuality. Remove the objective moral standards, and each individual will become a god unto their own self. And they will begin to cry out, "It's my body." No, it ain't. No, it ain't. God gave you a body. And what you do with it is what you do with it. But it's not yours. It's not mine. It's a creation of God. Sexual revolution. If there's no creator, there's no creation, then we are just nothing more than the results of time, space, and chance. But the Bible teaches that there's a God, and that God created man and created woman. And then they procreate, and the miracle of life goes on. I said the miracle of life goes on. The miracle of life goes on. What an awesome miracle. procreation. So you must, if you want to get souls in hell, you got to corrupt society. You want to corrupt society, you got to redesign the family. You want to redesign the family, you redefine marriage. You want to redefine marriage, you destroy sexual fidelity. You want to destroy sexual fidelity, you bring about what's called the sexual revolution. And people become sexually active way before they should have, and certainly before the holy institution of matrimony. You want to rewrite the laws of morality? Here's the way it's done. This is the beginning step. It's called sex and the media. Bring the sexual revolution through the media and begin to carry out a method, a strategy to desensitize and control the minds of the people, unbeknownst to them, that are watching things that in their lives, if you could just flash back and jump back 20 years ago, you'd have never sat there and let your eyes looked at such filth as that. It's called desensitizing. And it comes in the name of don't be old-fashioned. Don't be legalistic. Don't be moralistic. My family's at stake. My marriage is at stake. My kids are at stake. I can't afford to be otherwise. Sexual content, images and music has an ability to directly bypass the cerebral, rational, logical thought process. And it goes directly into you. Media, images. That's why media is such a powerful instrument. Images, you listen, we learn so much more quickly by what we see and what we listen to in music. Music is a powerful medium. The images are powerful. That's y'all know all the stuff about pornography. The reason it's so addictive is it releases those endorphins in our brain. It's a painkiller, man. You watch that stuff in your brain immediately. This is just a thing in your head called your brain, and it releases these things. That is a dope. It's a dope. It's a dope. You say, Brother Jim, I'm strong enough. No, you're not strong enough. No, I'm not strong enough. You better get yourself away from that, and you better run from that like for your life. You better run from that like it is a secret bomb that is set to go off. Desensitized, little by little by little by little by little by little, until we are left with a civilization of no morals. I will close with this. You know how Hitler was able to do what he did in Nazi Germany? He told the biggest lie for the longest period of time. And you keep telling that biggest lie for the longest period of time. And you take control of the airways. And you take control of the media. And you take control of what people are reading and what people are seeing and what people are exposed to. And pretty soon you've got yourself a captive society. Stand with me, please.